Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the PowerMagic Pro and specifically how to actually configure it and set it up, and also how to wire it into your vehicle. The PowerMagic Pro is a really handy accessory for dashcam users. As you guys know, dashcams are awesome for recording whatever's going around you while you're driving. A lot of dashcams also have a parking mode feature to record what's going on when you are parked. When that's the case, you're actually running off of your car's battery, and if you drain your car's battery for too long because you ran your camera for too long, you may not actually be able to start your car next time you get in the car. What the PowerMagic Pro does is it basically monitors how low the voltage goes on your battery, and if it goes too low, it shuts off the camera. You can also set it up to record only for a certain period of time as well. And in this video, we're going to be basically taking a look at how you program it and how you set it up. Now, what you get in the package, you get the PowerMagic Pro itself. You get the wiring that you need, and then you also have two different ways of mounting the PowerMagic Pro into your vehicle. As you can see on either side, it has these little screw holes, so if you want, you can actually screw it into your vehicle. You got the two screws there. Alternatively, if you like, rather than screwing it in, it does come with this double-sided sticky pad here, and you can just attach this onto your car that way and actually stick it to the inside of your vehicle. Now, once you actually have it all set up in your car, the way that it works here, you've got a couple different switches and ports. On the back, you've got the power cable port, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. In the front, the way that you use it, you got a couple different things. You've got some dip switches right here, which you can use for programming. You've got an LED right here letting you know when you've got power, and you have a parking mode switch. Basically, the way it works is when your dash cam is wired through this, it's always going to be getting power when you're driving no matter what. You also have the option of recording when you're parked. If you want it to actually provide power to your camera when you're parked, you turn it on. If you don't want it to activate for parking mode, you basically just shut it off. Really simple there. On this side, you have 5 different dip switches, which you can use for programming. The 2 on the left are actually designed to basically tell this guy how far the voltage has to drop on your battery before it shuts off. You've got a couple different options. For most people in standard cars, you're going to want to do either 12 volts, which looks like this. It's like that, so 1 up, 2 down, and this is all covered here in the manual. If you want it to cut off a little bit sooner when your battery gets to 12.5 volts, you're gonna have both of them up like this. 12.5 is a good place to start. Basically, that way your voltage doesn't drop too low. If you want it to run longer, you can set it for 12 volts. In some cars, that may or may not have an issue as far as draining your battery too far, and you may have to jump it, right? So it's gonna be a balance, and you're gonna have to test it out to see, is it better to do 12 volts or 12.5 to get longer recording time, or maybe not drain my battery as much. So you've got some options there. You also have the ability, for those of you guys who drive larger, heavier vehicles, you can also program it here for 22.8 volts or 23.2 volts by adjusting these first 2 dip switches. Now, the last 3 dip switches are actually going to be set to time, and you can tell your PowerMagic Pro, when it's set to parking mode, how long it records for before it actually shuts off the dash cam. You can do everything from 6 hours, 12 hours, 24, 36, 48, 72, 120 hours, or infinity. And basically, as you can see, you've got a couple different options here on the dip switches. So let's say you wanted it to record for 12 hours. You would have those 2 up, and then this last one here down. That would be 12 hours. If you wanted to record for an infinite amount of time and only monitor the battery voltage and only take that into consideration, you can set it to infinity like this. So that's how you actually configure all the dip switches themselves. You can see it's pretty easy. You just got a couple different settings, you set it, and then on or off. So really easy. And then you just install this somewhere in your vehicle. Now, the wiring itself is also pretty straightforward. The way that it works on the back here, you've got a port where this guy actually plugs into, so he plugs in like that. And then you've got a nice female cigarette lighter plug like this. This is so you can actually plug in your dash cam itself. Obviously, this is just a generic plug. This is actually designed by Pitasoft. They're the company who actually makes the Blackview camera. So it's designed for Blackview. However, because of the fact that this is just a generic plug, you could really actually use this with any dash cam. It would be good to have a dash cam that takes into account parking mode functionality, so it does actually run a little bit different than when you're driving, but you could really use this with any camera. Now, to actually wire it in to your vehicle to get power, that's pretty straightforward as well. You've got 3 different power cables here. We've got our ground, and we have two different power cables. One is going to be basically wired into your battery or any source in your vehicle that's always going to have power whether the car is turned on or turned off. This red power cable is going to be there only receiving power when your car is turned on, but when your car is turned off, it loses power. So this is going to be an ignition triggered accessory cable, and this one is going to always receive power no matter what. So when the car is turned off, again, this guy's going to need to get power even when the car is turned off. This is really important, and it can tell when the car is on and off with this cable here. Now the way that you wire this in, this you can see you've got the two metal prongs here. You're going to want to find a ground somewhere in your vehicle, a piece of metal attached to your vehicle's chassis, and screw this right into your chassis. That's traditionally the way that you would do it. With this two guys here, you'll want to tap somewhere into your vehicle's accessory system. Really any way to do that. My favorite ways basically is to use an accessory called an ADA circuit. It looks like this. It's not included, but it is a really handy accessory. I use this to wire in pretty much everything from my dash cams, radar detectors, laser jammers, additional USB ports to charge phones, all that kind of stuff. I run it all off of here. And the idea is inside your car's fuse box, you've got a whole bunch of different fuses like this. That way, it's for your air conditioning or stereo or heated seats or whatever. All those things have different fuses. And you can basically tap into your car's fuse box like this and then add a circuit for other accessories to actually tap into. And basically you would find a spot. And it's good to actually have two of these because you're going to need, one that always has power and another one that's accessory, ignition triggered, right? So it'd be good to have two of them. A quick note, the size actually does vary, the size of the fuses you need depending on what car you drive. So you want to actually take a look in your fuse box, take a look at what size fuses you need. You can Google it, or actually I'll post a link in the video description to where you can find out more information about, actually finding out what type of size fuses you need for your car. Basically just take a look and look at this picture here on screen, right? Really simple. Anyways, tap into the fuse box, and then once you have this guy plugged into the power, really simple, you're just gonna wanna take this power cable here, you're gonna slide it in like this, and then take a crimper, and then basically just crimp down like this, and it crimps down onto this part. A quick note, I would not actually recommend using pliers. Pliers like this, they'll create a nice flat bite, but you actually want to use crimpers like this right here. As you can see, they have this kind of pointy part like that, and the idea is when you bite down on a cable, you don't want to do a flat bite like this, or sorry, let's make sure you guys can see it. You don't want to do a flat bite because that's not going to create a good connection. You want to actually use the crimper so it bites down like this, and then now the cable is not going to be able to go inside or go anywhere like that. So I would recommend using a set of crimpers, not actually a set of pliers. Anyways, you can crimp down that way, and that's a good way to make the connection. One issue you may run into is you can really only use that with one thing. I like to, again, run a whole bunch of different accessories, and just a quick note as far as how I actually do it, I typically don't use this part of the cable. I use what's called vampire taps or T-taps. And what you do is on this guy, rather than actually going in here, you slide it into this accessory. And again, I'll put this in the link to the video description if you need one of these as well. I keep a whole handful of these, just in my closet. Anyways, it goes in like this, and then you crimp down. One of them didn't make it. Get a nice, clean. I always like it to look clean, look good. So it slides in like that, and then you crimp down in place here. Once you do, you can see you've got this nice kind of flat metal tooth thing, right, for the electrical connection. And then what you can do is to connect with that, you have the other half. This is kind of the vampire tap or the T-tap. You see this part right here? There's a piece of metal. And the idea is what you're going to do is attach it down like this, and it's actually going to be then biting down onto the cable. And then when you use a set of pliers in this case, which is fine, you squeeze, and those pieces of metal are actually going to slice through the insulation and make an electrical connection. It's going to make contact with the wire inside the insulation here. Then once you do that, you'll have this little flat piece here for this guy to actually slide into like this. So they'll actually plug in like that, and that's actually how I wind up connecting all of my different accessories, so that I could run, not just one thing off of this, but I can have a whole bunch of different vampire taps, all dotted up and down there, and I can connect a whole bunch of things. So that's actually what I do, but that's kind of a little bit beyond the scope of all this. Really the idea is you got your power cables here, right? And you're going to want to wire it up one way or another. You can use an ATA circuit, you can use your T-taps like this. There's a variety of different ways of doing it, and those are the ways that I typically wind up doing it. But anyways, there's a quick look here at the PowerMagic Pro, how you actually go through the process here to configure it, what the buttons do, and how to actually wire it up and install it in your vehicle. I'll put a link to this guy down on Amazon so you can pick one up. It's about 24 bucks or so. If you need anything else like the ATA circuits or a set of crimpers, or if you need the Vampire T-taps or whatever, I'll put links down in the video description to those as well. So anyways, just a quick video to show you guys how you use this thing and how you set it all up. So awesome. Hope that's been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.